Board of Education Agenda Workshop Special Action Meeting of October 20th, 2015. Please silence or turn off your cell phones and note the locations of the emergency exits. If we could please have a moment of silence for those staff members who may have recently lost somebody in their families and our school community families that may have lost someone special to them as well. If we could stand for the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. These chairs. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Trends, the Record, AIM West Milford, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, and Cablevision of Warwick, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, please, Mrs. Francisco.
Mr. Babbitt. Mr. Bailey.
Here.
Mr. Dever.
Here.
Mr. Drew. Mr. Foodie.
Present.
Mrs. Kepi.
Here.
Ms. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Robbins.
Here.
Mrs. Schultz.
Here. Resolved that the board go into executive session at 9 p.m. for approximately 60 minutes for the purpose of discussing HIV, personnel negotiations, and matters of attorney-client privilege. The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the following resolutions that was just read by Mrs. Schultz. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Actually, I got a letter from a parent that I would like to share with the board in executive session. How would we go about it, adding that to the resolution, John?
So we should actually add student matters.
Student matters?
As well.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes, to the executive session, can we add Hillcrest to that?
Is there an item of discussion for Hillcrest? If there is, then yeah, we can add it. It's a real estate matter that we can talk about in executive.
Just to get a status on Hillcrest?
Yeah, we can add that. So just make it as amended with those two.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following resolutions that was read by Mrs. Schultz and amended by Mr. Foodie, Mr. Robbins.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Ashika, Superintendent's Report.
Okay, well, it was no secret, we had back on September 30th, this building took in quite a bit of water in the middle of a roof restoration project. Fortunately, you could not tell that anything happened here sitting here, but this was quite a mess right in this very room and surrounding behind us. Fortunately, caught it early. It was like 4:45 in the morning when I found out about it. And what happened consequently is that our crew came in and did a wonderful job to start things off, but then we brought in other people, including the architect came in, the contractor, and anybody else involved in the project. We immediately started remediation and removing anything that was problematic as far as being totally wet and making it into a safe situation. And then what we did was, everybody knows, I think at this point, we moved our students and our staff out of this building for 4 days last week. And consequently, we stepped it up a notch, and the roof was actually completed last Friday. So, and along with that, all the remediation in the building, as you can see from the rug to the ceiling tiles in here and everything in the classrooms, has been taken care of. So we're in a good place. The one big thing that we're waiting for on the roof will not affect anything as far as teaching or creating any problems is the metal edging, which had to be ordered, and when that gets here, they'll install that as well. But certainly we are in a much better place now, as you can tell, and students and teachers are back. I want to publicly thank Ms. Summers for an outstanding job in her leadership role here. and the staff for their cooperation, and the parents, and everybody that was involved, even our transportation with Mr. Mazie, for really doing a wonderful job. We came up with a plan the Friday before, instituted that plan quickly, and lo and behold, we were able to still educate our students at the other elementary schools, and I want to give them a big thank you as well, because everything went very, very smooth, which is much better than losing time out of the classroom or closing the school down and not having kids come in. So that's a positive spin on bad news, but fortunately, that's where we are. Also, in this building, we have new boilers that are up and running, so it's warm when it needs to be. But today and tomorrow, I don't think we needed the heat so much, but yesterday we did. Paradise Knoll, new boilers there too. A little bit of a hiccup with one of the systems that will be rectified hopefully tomorrow. And we're moving along. Also, just so you know, as far as facilities, we had spoken a while back in regards to technology, and I have good news that the runs for additional wireless connectivity in this building have gone on quite successfully with good progress, very good progress. So it's also happening at our middle school over at Macapin, and they're starting to get into the elementaries as well. So we're making a lot of progress. I'm happy the roof is working and the boilers are working, and hopefully we can go through the rest of the school year unscathed. So thank you.
The kids are back in class?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We had them all back in on Monday.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ashika. Special reports and correspondence. Mrs. Francisco?
Just that the minutes from September and the revised minutes from June 23rd will appear on Monday for board consideration.
Thank you. Legal report will be done.
We will discuss, thank you, that report, we'll talk about in executive session.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to welcome Dr. Elizabeth McQuaid. This is the first meeting that you're joining us at the Board of Ed table. So thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Our goal-setting meeting took place on Saturday, October 10th. The meeting was facilitated by New Jersey School Board Association Field Rep Robert Meehan. We reviewed the compilation of the board self-evaluation and discussed and developed board goals, district goals aligned with the district's strategic plan. We also discussed rewriting the team charter at a later date. For those board members that were not present, I went ahead and scanned a copy of the board self-evaluation results and emailed them to you. Mrs. Robin Meehan will be compiling all the information and submitting it by email to Mrs. Francisco at a later date. It would be a summary of the meeting that took place for us. And then once Mrs. Francisco gets it, we'll send it to all the other board members. I'd also like to talk about, and this can be discussed now, or should I wait for executive session?
You can talk about it, it's just information on the timeline, so you can talk about it now. As long as there's nothing substantive about it, so
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to discuss the working timeline for the superintendent search. Advertisements, postings will appear in the newspapers sometime in October, possibly the 18th, November, and December. I sent everybody a copy of the ad itself. I believe that December 21st, which is a Monday, will be the deadline for the applications, and this is all a timeline by RPAP. By January 9th, the paper screening and initial applicant checks completed by consultants, and then the selected applicants will be contacted and interviewed by the consultants. After the reorg meeting in January, the new sitting board can now approve the candidates. So at that time, the board should consider 4 dates for interviews and reserve those dates and times. And then from there, between January 20th and January 29th, the board will interview preliminary candidates, narrowing the field to 2 to 3 finalists. The board will establish 2 dates in close proximity between January 20th and January 29th as reserved times for interviews and deliberations. And then somewhere between February 1st and the 5th, the final interviews of the finalists will take place with the Board of Ed. And that's pretty much the timeline for a July 1st start. Lastly, I just want to mention something. Today I had the privilege, along with School Board Trustee Inga Kepi, of attending a World Language Showcase Forum facilitated by Mrs. Brenda Ludwig, West Milford Supervisor of World Languages. World Language Supervisors from Northern New Jersey were in attendance, along with Dr. David Greer, newly appointed New Jersey Department of Education Coordinator of World Languages. A lovely lunch was provided by Susan Alexander, sales rep from EMC. Mrs. Karen Johnson, our former German teacher and 2013-14 Passaic County Teacher of the Year, she's presently an assistant principal here at the high school, presented a mini workshop on API Half Hour. She spoke about the value of infusing technology used in everyday life into the classroom and beyond. The event provided opportunities for discussions, including New Jersey Department of Education updates, best practices, student growth objectives, and updates in the field of second language teaching and learning. I would just like to commend Mrs. Ludwig for organizing this informative event, along with the West Milford staff who were involved in lending a helping hand. I thought it was very informative and very well attended. And that's all I have, so we'll move on to petitions and requests. Petitioners who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first with 5 minutes for each petitioner for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other petitions and requests limited to 5 minutes per petitioner will be allowed until the 30-minute period transpires. Petitioners speaking during petitions or requests are asked to address topics listed for special action in the agenda. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during petitions and requests. I need a motion. Oh, not yet. Sorry. I'm ahead of myself. Would anybody like to come up and speak?
Okay, seeing none.
Edwin?
No.
Oh, do you want?
I believe that was a hand raised.
Okay, I take that.
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
Edwin Gonzalez, talking as myself, not representing any township organization, 17 Hillside Lane. I am speaking finally because it's kind of concerning in terms of the irregularities presented by this board when it comes to time to do the executive session. We have people in here. In the past, you guys kick us all out of here to have the executive session. Stopped doing that, started going to a different room, and then went back to the old ways. It's very confusing. You guys are primarily the only school board that does that I have researched around. Every other school board finds a different room to have their executive session and comes back. Also, you guys are here, you guys get elected by the people of this town. There's a trust given to you guys. We expect you to be here. We expect you to participate of the whole meeting as a whole without leaving or resting in other places. I know everybody has different jobs, but you made a commitment by running. You wanted to run to represent this town and all the kids for the better of our kids. We expect that trust to be fulfilled and not betrayed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Anybody else would like to come up and speak?
Seeing none, I'd like to move to close petitions and requests.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented and amended.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda that has been presented this evening. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Personnel, Student Affairs, Mrs. O'Brien.
I'd like to move items 1 through 7 under personnel and student affairs. Second.
Discussion. Mr. Foodie.
Number 1, it says replaces Brennan. Permanently, or is this just for the remainder of this school year?
No, it's till June 30th.
Till just, okay.
It says June 30th,
I just
yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
clarify, okay.
So the salary that you see there is based on 12 months, so it'll be retroactive based on the eight months of the contract.
Okay.
Any other discussions or questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Dever?
Yes.
Excuse me, was that yes?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mrs. Kepi?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes.
That concludes Personnel Student Affairs.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Brien. Mrs. Kepi, would you mind moving special action education?
Under education, I'd like to move item number 1.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Kepi?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Dever?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes.
And item 2 will be voted on after executive session.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey, Budget and Finance.
I'd like to move items number 1 through 5 under Budget and Finance. I don't know what number 6 means, so I'll leave that unless somebody can clarify.
What that means,
I need
1
a
through
second.
6.
Excuse me, I'm asking either the president or the BA, not him. Thank you. May I have some clarification before I move number 6? Mrs.
The
President?
change order, number 2?
Excuse me?
The change order under
No, I
number 6?
see under Budget and Finance, 1 through 6.
Okay,
6 is regarding, related to?
That's all one motion.
that's all one resolution. The first resolution is broken down in different paragraphs, and it's for the referendum on December the 8th. And it has
Excuse me, that's
6
good.
different,
I'd like to move item number 6 under Budget and Finance, please.
number 6 under Budget and Finance is a change order.
Move it or not? 1 through 6, is that what you want moved?
1 through 7.
No.
Okay. There's 7 resolutions under Budget and Finance. The proposal for the referendum has 6 paragraphs to it. And then, that's one resolution. So that's the first resolution.
Just tell me what to move. 1 through?
One,
Just one.
just one,
Just item 1?
Just start with that.
yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to move item 1 under Budget and Finance, please.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Foodie.
Now that we got that cleared up, I just wanted to let the board know, today I went up on the roofs at both Macapin School and the high school to physically see what it is we're dealing with, and I'm kind of glad that I did. The roofs are in really bad shape. Now, there'd been talk about the high school being the worst. I personally think it's Macapin. Went up on the roof at Macapin, there's varying levels of, in spaces and roofs. There's probably 7 different sections on that roof. And there's 4 different types of materials that are used on the roof in general. We have rubber roof in sections. We have asphalt roof in sections. We have spray foam roof in sections. And then we've got sections where there's rubber roof that's been covered over with a white aluminum fiber coating to help protect. And the reason being that rubber roof that's there is starting to degrade. You can see the fibers that are in the rubber roof, they're starting to come through, and that rubber coating, although I don't know when they did it, I believe was to help save that section of roof because it looks like it was in pretty bad shape. The spray foam roof, where they have that section that's done with spray foam, I took pictures if anybody wants to see. There's bubbles in the roof that are a foot off the roof. There's sections where there's water underneath, and if you were to roll around, it would sound like you're on a water bed. I mean, that's how much water. There were spots when I walked through where there were little holes and little geysers of water would shoot out. Roof's in bad shape. When I compare it to the high school, my opinion, Macapin's worse than the high school, although high school's pretty bad all by itself. I was a little dismayed at why we would have so many different sections, but the people that were running the show back then aren't here to explain, so it's nothing that, our current administration has done. It's obviously been done in the past. That roof originally, and this goes back to both the high school and Macapin, they were originally asphalt roofs. They did a stone ballast. And with a stone ballast, there's what's called the ballast edging, the drip edge on the edge. It's just curved up maybe 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch, so that when they put the stone down, the stone doesn't run off. The water goes to the edge, builds up, and then drips into the gutter. When they replaced it with the rubber roof, they didn't replace the ballast edging. They just used, they didn't use a new edging to go with the rubber roof. They used the ballast edging. So you got all along the perimeter of the roof, you've got areas where the water puddles, and that's been contributing to all the leaks because it freezes in those spots. And at Macapin, on the back side where it adjoins the tennis courts and the baseball field, the wood underneath the roof, the soffit on that end, is all starting to rot. So we not only have to deal with repairing the roof, but there's also damage to the wood soffit underneath. So, I mean, it's really, I think, imperative that, and I hate putting any more debt on the district, but we really need to repair the roofs at both the high school and the middle school. There were spots on the high school roof that we just repaired during the summer over the auditorium that further degradation has occurred since then. And the maintenance supervisor, Eric Sanvey, who went up with me, and one of the maintenance guys, they said that they are going to go up and address it over the next couple of days so we don't have further problems down the road. So it was kind of a godsend that I was up there to begin with, because I don't think they would have been up there on the roof on their own. But I just wanted to inform the board, and if anybody wants to see any of the pictures, I'd be more than happy to. And I think that some of those pictures, when we tell everybody that we're going to do this referendum, that we can get somebody from the paper to put some of these in so people can see for themselves. We really need to do this.
Thank you, Mr. Foodie. Anybody else have any comments? Mr. Robbins?
And I'd just like to thank Mr. Foodie to go up on the roof. It certainly has convinced me now that we do need roofs. So thanks. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Mr. Drew?
I'd like to comment briefly about this. I think there's no question, nobody really wants to consider something like taking on additional debt and kind of bringing the community for some period of time. I don't think anybody at the table really wants to do that. However, it appears that the repairs are absolutely necessary, really should not be delayed. And at this point, we're spending additional money to repair items that are hurt because the roofs need repair. So we're actually wasting the town's money on additional things, and if we don't do this, it will become a safety issue. We can have issues with mold that could be very expensive, so I think that they're in dire need of repair. Doing this with a bond, first we don't have the money to spend. If we just plop down the cash to do the roofs, we would have to delay it over multiple years, and what would happen, I think, is that that would impact the educational budget, and again, we would have further damage. By doing it as a bond, we can take advantage of 40% funding by the state In this case, where we're talking about $8 million total, that means that the state will finance or give us the money for $3.2 million of that. So they're basically giving us money to do the repairs that we know we need to do. Not doing it as a bond would that would be money we'd have to come up with, and $3.2 million is a very substantial amount. So we need to do it as a bond to take advantage of the state funding. And finally, by doing it what are historically low interest rates, and especially interest rates lower than the existing bonds, our debt service will be less than what we're paying now. So it in fact gives us an opportunity to spend less on debt to get something done that we need to have done. So I think at the end of the day, even though we don't really want to do something like this, we have to repair the roofs, and there really are no other alternatives. This is a good alternative for the district, and so I highly support the issue.
Thank you.
Vote.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Foodie?
The only other thing that I'd like to say, and I don't know who's really read this, but under item number 2, under resolution 1, and we go to paragraph C, the last sentence of the paragraph, I'm not comfortable with. The school district, it says the school district may transfer a portion of the proposed local share cost of one project to another under circumstances permitted by statute.
That's because each roof is a separate project.
Well, I just want to be, I don't want this going to anything but the roofs.
Each roof is a separate project. So there's technically 2 projects here. And what that means is that if you have extra money in one and you need it in the other, you can transfer between 2 projects.
And that's the project that they're being referred to.
One's the
in
high school
sentence.
project and one is the Macapin project.
Okay, but the reason, Barbara, I'll tell you why I'm uncomfortable with that. When we did our last bond issue, there were things that we bonded for of work to do, and we thought we were going to finish those projects, and it didn't. Money got taken from some projects to finish others, and we were still in the hole for windows and doors and all that kind of jazz.
I can't speak to that because I wasn't here,
Oh,
but I
I know
can
that.
tell you
I'm-
what this means.
Yes, but I'm just telling you why I'm uncomfortable with that.
I can tell you that that's what this language means in this particular resolution. This resolution was drafted by our bond counsel, and there are 2 separate projects, one for each roof.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Mrs. O'Brien,
Yes.
Mr. Robbins,
Yes.
Mr. Dever,
Yes.
Mr. Drew,
Yes.
Mr. Foodie,
Absolutely.
Mrs. Kepi,
Yes.
Mr. Bailey.
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz.
Yes.
I'd like to move items 2 through 7 under budget and finance, please.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Drew?
Item number 2, did we discuss this information?
Yes, this is actually a decrease. We had discussed this a few months ago. When they opened up the floor, they hit a conduit that they weren't aware that was there. And so I think we discussed it in July.
All right.
And this is actually the final change. It'll be, when everything is totaled up, the actual contract is less than what was originally awarded because of the money that's held in escrow for any unanticipated adventures that happen.
I also have a question about item number 4. This is the external bridge deck, flying stairway. And I think, as we discovered, if you have something made out of steel that's exposed to the weather, you've got to constantly paint it and repair it and so on and so forth. And at some point you get rust and potentially safety hazard, we're not there now. But we're gonna have to continue to spend money on that. Why do we need it? Do we need it? Could we take it
The
out?
balcony,
Yeah.
it's an egress
Yeah, I don't know.
for the design of the building.
I figured it was for part of fire safety where it needed to
I
have
would,
an egress,
yeah.
but I didn't know
you-
for sure.
You wouldn't have enough egress, I think, because the rooms are on the outside over here. And I don't know how you would get all those kids through the halls for egress in case of an emergency.
So the problem is that they're second floor and they can't go out the front door.
They're like right out here, and then you would have to have all the kids filtering this way.
Now, the high school has a second floor with no flying balconies.
But they have different
Multiple-
doorways.
Yeah, they have multiple
They have multiple
stairways and
exits.
exits to go out. This is limited.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is a fire.
So-
Anybody
so
else?
Basically, it's right out there, which is on the second
Okay,
floor.
all right.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Dever?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Kepi?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes. Good. So workshop and discussion for budget and finance.
On Monday, is that correct?
Correct.
On Monday, there'll be 11 items for the board to consider, possibly more. More fascinating architectural discussion, I'm sure. So please, everybody plan to attend.
Anybody have any questions with regards to budget and finance? Mr. Foodie?
On number one, of the authorizing the $42,500 to prepare an electrical and structural analysis at the four schools, Marshall Hill, Westbrook, Macoupin, and the high school, for determination of the possibility of solar. Have we gotten any other bids from any other architects, whether it be land or, because I'm just, and I'll tell you why, I'm just a little concerned with the cost. When reading the proposal, it said that, he wanted the plans to all the buildings, which, in speaking with
Right.
Eric today, he said he had all needs, just he had to look for the Macoupin ones. And knowing what this guy's gonna do, he's gonna look at the bar joist specifications in the plans, look up in a book that what their weight load is, do a little bit of determination as to what we have up on the roof now, and the possibility of the solar, and figure out whether or not.
Well-
I'm just a little concerned that that cost might be high, and I'm curious if we have had any other bids, because it's part of the SOP manual for the district is we're supposed to get.
But this is also the architect that's doing the roof replacement. So I think it would behoove the board to use the same architect that's doing the roof replacement and doing all the bid specifications for the roof replacement to also do the competitive bidding for any solar project. I know in speaking with him, he is going to have to make a determination whether the drawings are actually accurate. He's not going to be able to just look at the drawings and take that as gospel. He's going to have to bring the engineers in to do their own calculations. And that money is also including the development of the RFP for the procurement process, if in fact the board, determines that they're going to do that.
What then is this fee just for the determination and not the
That's the
RF?
breakdown.
It's including everything, I believe that was given to the board members.
Yes.
It was electronic version.
And it also includes the RFP and the analysis of the responses that come in and the recommendation to the board.
The only cost is if the board decides not to go forward with solar panels.
You know, if they determine that, you know, you're not going to be able to cover the entire roof, or it's not as extensive because of other variable factors, because they also have to take into account the wind load up here and other things. So once that determination is made, the board has to decide whether it's, you know, what can be covered, whether it's worth it. So this is, but you can't do one without doing the other. This is going to actually, this will actually tell you what can be covered.
Well,
What can be done?
and the reason why I asked for this separate, because I read this, and thank you. It's one price, $42,500, but if we spend $20,000, and if that's his cost, to find out that we can't do solar, then that, part of that bid is drawing up the specs for,
But it's not, that's not
So-
an amount of money that they're going to get up front either. So when they give you a professional fee like that, it's built in increments as they do the work.
no, understood, but if there's no breakdown as to what those costs will be in the proposal that I read there, which was what was on the board member page. So I'm just seeing $42,500 with no actual breakdown, that if we can't do a solar panel project, then he's gonna get paid $42,500 for
Why don't I do
for
this?
everything.
Why don't I get in touch with him tomorrow, and I'll ask him to break it down,
I would
by
like
the
to see
different
that before
areas?
I vote on it.
and that you'll have that available before Monday.
Okay. I'm sorry, hi Jamie.
The other thing I wanted to bring up real quick is we're putting brand new roofs, or we're proposing to put brand new roofs on these buildings that we're gonna put ballast and solar panels on, and how it affects the roofs and the warranty on the roofs, and, spending $42,500 or part of that sum to figure this out, to find out that we're gonna put our roofs in jeopardy is another thing to consider, warranty-wise. And the warranty coverage on the
Well,
roofs.
there's no penetration.
Right, but, so the roof will still, they'll say, you guys are covered for 25 years, even if you just put
20.
the ballast up there, or the 20 years, whatever
The-
it is. That's a fact.
Anything, the roofing contractor is going to warranty the roofs. And then if you do put up any kind of panels, that person or that organization has to maintain everything, and that includes the roofing structure. So it's not, the board should be fine for the warranty period. Joe, have
I'm
you?
curious if the roofing company who puts the roof up, are they going to still warranty it with the ballast?
The roofing company doesn't do the warranty. It's the manufacturer of the product that
Right.
warranties
Are they
it.
able to still-
So whoever manufactures the layers the material we put up there, they're the ones that give us the warranty.
Okay.
So they would have to be part and parcel with anyone that comes up on the roof to make sure that everything is still intact. This is not something that you could do in isolation, from what I understand. Everyone has to be on board.
Yeah, I will say that there's two separate warranties here. The warranty with the roof and the layers and everything that Barbara's talking about is one warranty. So if those parts fail, then that company comes in and fixes it. But if anything from the solar parts fail, they also have a warranty that they come in and fix it through their warranty. So if they cause the damage, they fix it.
Right.
And if the roof just fails, then that's warranty through the roof manufacturer.
Understood. The roof manufacturers will be around for a long time because they make good money, and that's it. But the solar company will probably bankrupt before they have to put any money out, in my opinion, because you see how these businesses work, and it's not in our
Anybody-
favor.
Does anybody else have anything to add?
One more question
Sure.
based on what Jamie had said. And Barbara, I don't know who we would ask, but if we do the roofs, we get the approval, we do the roofs, and it turns out that we can put solar on, and we put solar up on the roofs, something happens and we got a bad leak, and we got to move those panels, who's going to do that? Are we going to pay the company to come in, and is that something that Mr. Sedembrino can ask? Are we going to pay them to move those panels in order for that repair to be done? And then what are we going to lose? I think it's something that we should at least ask.
He would be the one to know, so
Yeah.
that's who should do it.
Yeah.
And then one step further is how far is the solar company going to argue and say, it's not our fault? And then they have to go back and forth and figure out who pays for it.
Well, but we're discussing, we're not even there yet.
I understand.
You know,
Just put it on the forefront.
And the other piece, I think, in many of the studies with roofs that do have solar panels, it actually protects the roof. The sun that would usually be baking down on your rooftop is now going into your solar panels. The snow or the weight from the snow goes onto the panels. Many times that melts very quickly. So we have to, I think this is a great dialogue, but we need to measure out everything, but just figure out, again, who's going to cover what is the important piece at this time. I think if we spend a lot of time talking about something that we don't even know we're doing yet,
Yeah.
it's just...
I think at this point, what this resolution is going to accomplish, it's going to put to rest whether or not the board has roofs that can handle the solar panel, given the environmental issues that we deal with in West Milford. And you'll know once and for all whether or not that's a feasible option for you, and take it from there. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah, no, I'm in favor of doing something, especially if we can save money for the
But
district.
some of the
there's-
questions that are coming up, they're down the road. We can't answer those things at this
Yeah,
point
well,
in time.
The
Hypothetical.
only thing that we can answer is how much is he going to spend to do that study, and how much is not.
And I'll ask him to provide a breakdown of the money so that you can see that if the board chooses not to go ahead with the RFP, then that entire amount of money will not be
Yeah,
subject to be paid.
yeah, or we can't do it because the roof can't take the loads. That would be, I just don't want to be stuck with a 42,000. Not 42,000. If it was 20,000, I'd feel better, or 25, I would just.
Well, I'll ask
I'd
him
like
to break
know-
it down.
I'd like to know what
And I'll have that information for you so that you can review it.
Okay.
Okay?
Mr. Drew?
Very quickly, Sedembrino did say exactly
Yes.
what our superintendent said, that having the panels up there would extend the life of the roof. Now, the question is whether that was sales hoopla, or whether he's willing to put his money where his mouth is, and, for example, extend the warranty. And all of this is a little bit premature, but to avoid those issues with the interface, which I deal with at work all the time, when we get there, joint and severally liable.
Absolutely.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. I guess we can move on to
Education.
education.
We have 10 items for Monday under education.
Anybody have any questions regarding the items under education? There's 10 right now. Okay, then we move on to personnel and student affairs. Mrs. O'Brien.
We have 26 items under personnel, student affairs that will be brought to our voting pleasure on Monday, and there could be additional ones as well.
Any questions or discussions pertaining to personnel or student affairs? Generally, yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay. And we shall move on to old business. Does anybody have any old business?
Seeing none, like to close old business. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. New business. Does anybody have any new business?
Seeing none, like to close new business.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, petitions and requests. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to bring up to the board and to the people of West Milford that on our website right now, our school website, as far as refusing participation of state assessments and testing, we don't have any type of guidance for the families that choose not to take that. We had it last year, it was removed from our website, and that puts a bunch of people out there in limbo, so it's something that I'd like to see addressed soon, as far as giving some guidance to the parents that choose not to take part testing.
Mr. Foodie?
Why was it taken off?
We're still waiting for further direction from the state at this point. I was at a meeting 2 weeks ago with Barry Erlickson from the state, who oversees all of this. We're just waiting for more clarification. There might be different ways to do it. We've also been asked to share, which Mr. Novak and myself are going to do next week, is do a whole presentation on Park, what the questions mean, what the results mean, and so forth. So while we're talking about this, I can tell you that the scores are supposed to start being released, I believe, this Friday. And then more information will be available the middle of November. So, we want to look at it. We want parents to have a better understanding. Now that we have a better understanding, it's not something that's new anymore. And we're not saying that there may not be an opt-out, but we want to make sure that we're doing things in the right direction. So I think at this point, we're just waiting for the dust to settle and then see what we need to do and move from there.
And hopefully the state, where your people don't drag their feet, and then to the point where people are scrambling to, well, last year's policy was just hand in a simple note. I don't see how we're going to go against the state if we just put out something that says, if you refuse part testing, just report it to, or whatever the policy may be. It's not going to be in violation of the state.
Well, that's what we're not sure about. So,
You draw it up, so it's not. That's all.
But the discussion last year was that the districts who did not have a significant amount of students participating in Park would not receive a certain amount of state aid.
Which did they carry it?
We haven't seen it yet. We're not to that point yet.
And just
We
to
don't
let you know, it's political suicide for anybody to say, I'm going to revoke your funding. I doubt they'll ever get elected again if they revoke funding from the district. That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Dever.
I appreciate that.
I understand where Jamie's passion is. And my daughter did the first round, which was the math. And after she explained to me some of the things that she was going, now keep in mind, she aced the New Jersey Ask in 8th grade. Hands down, she aced it. That they sit there and they ask questions. The first section that she did, she was very comfortable with, boom, 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 did everything. And a second section, and the third, I believe, there was things in there that she'd never ever learned before. So along with all of her friends, they wrote, haven't been taught this yet, haven't been taught this yet, haven't been taught this yet. To me, if that's not the proper way of doing testing. So when she told me that, I took her out of the next round, because to me, it seems like a bunch of bull that they're testing kids on stuff they haven't learned. Why are we taking them out of the classroom, their learning time, to take a test that they haven't even first been learned?
What they're doing, I think this year, just to get a little bit of clarification.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Especially on the students' part.
No, absolutely. But the piece that they're looking for is to try to determine and come up with a baseline based off of the information that they collected from last year's data. That's why it's not really being counted toward anything moving forward for this year. So they're looking at that, they're making determinations. There should be some information coming forth real soon that we can share with the board and we can share with the public. And we together have already decided that along the path, as we get more information, we will be sharing that, whether it be a video presentation or a straight ahead discussion.
I don't know what discussions that all the administrative superintendents have had with Trenton, I am
Oh, some of it's
privy-
been, pretty
privy-
hostile, so.
Oh, I'm sure.
I could tell you that.
I'm sure,
Uh,
but, you know, when you're taking the kids away from their learning time to test them on stuff that they haven't even been exposed to yet, is, to me, a little bit ludicrous, and I would hope that they
Try to fix it.
change what they're doing. I mean, you know, you test kids on what they learn, what not on what they haven't learned, and it just, I understand everybody's frustration in taking their kids out.
And there's frustration on educators' end too, you know.
Oh,
It's just, you know, I'm
absolutely.
not saying I'm for it or against it, but there are concerns. But, you know, we're all, even you as the Board of Education, have to follow what the state is telling us to do. So we have to listen and make our decisions wisely, is basically what we want to do. And that's pretty much where we are.
All right, I had a motion by Debbie O'Brien and a second by Inga to close new business. I think we were in the midst of a voice vote. Are we all in favor of closing new business?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to petitions and requests. Petitioners who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be first with 5 minutes for each petitioner for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other petitions and requests limited to 5 minutes per petitioner will be allowed until the 30-minute period transpires. All speakers are asked to give their full name, spell their last name, and provide their address. Speakers may not use the names of students during petitions and requests. Would anybody like to come up and speak? Yes.
Good evening. William Seidowitz, CYTOWICZ, 694 Lakeshore. The first item I'd like to speak about is the solar project. I have a terrible feeling that it seems more like a feel-good project more than it's going to be a beneficial project to the district. And I understand that everybody wants to do the right thing by saving costs, by going green. However, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong outside of here, but for $42,000 for a structural and electrical analysis, now you have to think that your savings have to already surmount the $42,000. So to me, that just kind of seems a little one-sided in who's going to benefit from the project. And perhaps a better direction is to explore which items in terms of infrastructure in the district right now could be replaced and stop using so much energy and create possible savings that way for the long term. And also the fact that you're going to realize your benefits of solar energy in 20 years. By that point, perhaps solar is going to be up to speed in terms of being a marketable product, and then it would be well worth the district to explore that. And the second thing is a question, perhaps once again outside of the meeting. The comprehensive maintenance plan is developed every 3 years. Does that mean that there's a 2012 to 2013 comprehensive maintenance plan? And if there is that online, is that available for us to view?
It's an annual thing, and what the comprehensive maintenance plan describes is the building areas that need to be addressed and how much money has been spent on those areas in a 3-year period. What was actually spent, what is currently budgeted, and what is anticipated to be budgeted next year. Because the state requires us to spend a percentage of the building values over a 10-year period.
Okay.
So that's what the comprehensive maintenance plan is.
Is that available for public documentation?
It's a public document, yes. It's not on the website.
Okay, so it has to be requested.
Right.
Great. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you.
I just like to point out, we're talking about the solar energy, and again, something for the future possibly, but in the meantime, it's important, and I know this was discussed at a board meeting going back some time, but Ms. Francisco was very, very successful this year in going out to bid for power. for the district, and had saved, by going that route, saved a substantial amount of money. So that's a step in the right direction without going green, but it certainly did save us. Do you remember what the savings was on that, total, on the new,
I
on the
think,
bid?
from what we were paying, I thought it was about 7 cents a kilowatt hour. I think, what
Total
did it
was-
say, about $40,000,
Say about,
$35,000
yeah,
or $40,000?
$35,000 to $40,000 total.
Over the term of the
So
contract.
we are trying to, we are trying to find things, as you said, indicating where we can try to spend less money and make that happen. So we're doing that until we make a decision on the other piece.
And with the boiler replacements, we have them on automated systems now, and because they're more efficient, they modulate instead of just throwing out heat, so that they increase their increase their production as warranted. So when it gets colder in the building, they fire on more cylinders, so to speak, and then they modulate back when you don't need as much heat. So we now have new boilers in 3 buildings, and we're in the process of rebuilding the ones at Macapin School to make them a little bit better.
And I agree with those things. I think those things are great, and they definitely offer immediate benefits. And that seems more of the direction versus the still exploratory solar route. And to spend $42,000, even if you drop that cost down, you still have to overcome that cost. And I think that the route of replacing things like boilers that can be put onto automated systems and such, I think that's perfect. And finding cost savings in terms of electric, that's great. I just think solar isn't as great.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Sadowitz. Would anybody else like to come up and speak?
Seeing none, I'd like to move to close petitions and requests.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We're going to read motion for executive session. Mrs. O'Brien, would you like to?
Sure. At 8:30 PM, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing a HIB personnel negotiations, matter of attorney-client privileges, as well as student matters and Hillcrest Center.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to be going into executive session, and we'll be coming out to address the HIV afterwards. Yes. 8:30.
Oh, yeah.
We would love to do that, Steve, but we're moving on back to education. And
Under
Mrs. Kepi.
education, I'd like a motion to approve item number 2, which is an unsubstantiated HIP 2016/H2.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kepi?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Dever?
Yes.
Mr. Foodie?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes. Okay. It is 9:32. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We are adjourned at 9:32 PM. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
Have a wonderful week. See you Monday.
See you Monday. Same board time, same board channel.
Sticky day.
Turn